Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we just sit down and think about the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mumrick.
I'm Joe Christopher St. Humphrey Lawrence. He was martyred. Porter, drawn and quartered.
Oh.
And I'm the fourth one, and as I know you guys are fond of saying on the show, the fourth one is always the best. I'm Joe Dator. Joe Dator, cartoonist for The New Yorker, well-known humorist, but you can call me Sir Reginald Nipsey Russell. I'm a Scottish lord. By the way, I have to be careful on the show to watch my language because I know that whenever someone curses, you put a Wilhelm scream in there. Mm-hmm. And I feel out of consideration for somebody who might be listening in their headphones or commuting to their job, I don't want anyone to be subject to a Wilhelm scream right about now.
You are a considerate and kind person. You're very thoughtful.
I would never do that. I would never do that to you people, to you kind people.
If there is a Wilhelm scream there, I think the editor is being lazy. I think there's all sorts of other good sound effects.
I mean that's a bit of shade you're throwing on Ben Burt right there.
Yeah, really. Come on, Jerry.
Well, no,
it's the gold
just
standard
mean,
of bleeps.
Well, that's fair enough.
All right. Listen, you guys. There will be no Wilhelms during minute 63, unless there are. But minute 63 begins with Vogel marching to retrieve the Jones boys, and it ends with Indy confusing his dad by letting a boat go off on its own.
Hey, what happened to the alarm?
Oh, yeah.
It's no longer alarming.
It died with Natalie Merchant.
Yeah. What? I mean, how do you think you turn it off? Turn off the alarm!
Maybe she was making that sound.
It might have just been her.
You have to assume that everybody else in the castle is preoccupied with putting out this fire.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder how many people there are in this castle.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if there's a full complement here or just like these 6 people.
We've seen a total of about maybe 10 people in the entire castle.
Yeah.
You know, the big war room theme room seemed like it was filled with, I don't know, like 50 or 60 people. I'm totally making that up.
Yeah,
but it had the hustle and bustle of
of
like there's people running in and out and
yeah. But how many people do you need for hustle and bustle?
It seems to me the Nazis didn't build this castle; they've come in and occupied it.
Yeah.
Seems that's their thing,
Yeah.
That's
what they do.
And that's what they do. They come into a place and take it over. They don't know where all the hidden things are. It's a surprise to them. So that Indy and his father, they've gone into this room, and by the time they go out through the hidden door, the Nazis haven't even found that yet. And they don't have a map of all the nooks and crannies of this castle any more than we do.
Well, so how did all those the Natalie Merchant alarm lady? How did she get into that room, along with her compatriots there? If they didn't is the fireplace the only entrance?
So it sounds like a callback to Temple of Doom. Like, did she have to push the boobs? You have to.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Is there?
I think you can see a bunch of.
There's no have to. There's want to.
Doesn't Vogel just come into this new doorway or something?
Yeah, he.
And we see them leave through it, or we see Indy and Henry leave through a different regular sort of doorway.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The doorway that they leave through ends up in a locked room, though. So I'm not sure if you could enter that way.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we see Henry and Indy leaving the radio room, whatever this is, Indy just gets plain weird. He's got this super weird, "Come on, Dad."
Yeah, super.
Which is like
aggro.
We wondered if Marty McFly was dubbing River Phoenix back in Utah, and I wonder if somebody Maybe Eric Stoltz is doing Indiana Jones.
They have an odd relationship. They have this thing where they're in competition with each other, and it's also when it gets to like a sexual competition. Then it's really strange. I mean, trying to imagine that having that with my dad is just beyond weird. You know, or both of us making a play for mom. I can't even imagine that. It's weird. No, I mean, I had a very different relationship with my father, and I actually say it's crazy. I think Indy is like Batman in that he's compelled by insanity to do what he does. He's clearly, when you meet his father, his father has made him into a nervous wreck who can't sit still for 2 minutes. But I'm a little bit envious of that because in my life, my father was not the person who put a lot of pressure on me to succeed, to put it mildly. He certainly never made me count backwards in Greek, or he really expected, or he wasn't a guy who expected me to excel academically, and so I never became this kind of compulsive, overachieving type A person like Indy, who probably right after Crystal Skull died of a heart attack. I'm sure. I mean, this is not a person who would have lived a long time,
right?
But then again. The reason I'm envious is because I've also never had the benefit of being laid back. I'm still a nervous wreck all the time who can't relax. So I should at least have the benefit of being successful as well.
Yeah.
So I see this father-son relationship and I think, boy, if I had a dad like that who made me crazy, I might have been able to do a lot more cool stuff. I might have been able to achieve a lot more cool stuff because I would have been locked in this competition to try to outdo my father.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
The come on dad is completely menacing, right? That's what.
Yeah,
it is.
and then he throws the suitcase in his chest and actually knocks him backwards.
Right, and it's violent actually because at that point, if you watch, I watched that many times actually, and. Indy's dad falls back and he looks really vulnerable and helpless. And he's like,
"Come on, was he dawdling? Like, what prompted this? Come on, Dad."
It's such a great bit of business, though, because he says to him, "Is this a typical day for you?" And he throws the bag and hits him in the chest and says, "No." It's such a great way to emphasize the no.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
By throwing them. It's just a bit of would be just dry dialogue between them. Instead, he has physical action to emphasize the exclamation. That's really good.
If you think a few minutes back, this is a 180-degree turn from when Indy shot straight up when he first saw his father and he said, "Yes, sir." Mm-hmm. And now he's, "Come on, Dad." So what happened? What was it? The killing? I'm serious. Was it the killing of the Nazis? Like, was that what it was?
I think it's their situation has gotten more desperate, and I think he also now sees that he's in his element more.
Yeah.
And his dad's not a field guy. Remember, his dad's not a field guy.
Yeah.
So he's used to running around, and that's really underlined by that little bit of dialogue between them, where the dad asks him, sort of bewildered, "So is this a typical day for you, or is this is this a bad day?" I forget what he exactly says, but the answer is no, and throw the bag.
Well, do you guys think that has Indy ever spoken to his father in this tone before?
I feel like he has a lot. Like, I feel like this is like kind of sullen, insolent Indy as a teenager.
Right.
Yeah. Or as like an adult, like when they were like, it sounds like they haven't talked to each other in years. And probably the last time he talked to him was like this. Probably.
Well, it's like, you meet people often and they'll just be the most laid back, put together, calm people. And you see them get around their family and they revert to something like 25 years younger. And because it's like they take them right back to when they were that vulnerable age and had all these issues with their parents. And I think that's where Indy is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a good point.
How does Indy have his man purse and his dad's valise in the scullery map?
In the last minute, they were all sitting over in the corner on a table.
That's handy.
Yeah.
So,
like
and weird.
Did they get it? Wait a minute. If that's your answer.
No, you can see him.
So what? But wait. But last I saw our heroes, they were descending from a chimney flue.
Right.
So when
Yeah.
did they have the man purse and the valise then?
No, they were in a table in the radio room.
Oh.
So like just to the left of the fireplace. So they came back into this room and they were all sitting on a table and a chair right next to it.
Well, wait a minute. How did they get into the table in the radio room?
Yeah, it's playing weird.
We didn't even know that room existed.
No, but Donovan did. Like I'm sure Donovan just brought him in there after.
So
they
you think
tied him up.
Donovan hit the mamba snake, put the valise in the
Well, he
and
had
the-
somebody. He gave it to somebody. He's like,
and
"Take
they
this
put
away."
it okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm afraid I have entomophobia. Take this away. He turned his chair around.
And don't tell me where the food
Well,
comes
is there a
from.
word for a fear of a valise?
I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah,
there
look
is.
that up.
I'm sure there is.
What are your thoughts on the valise?
I think it fits him.
As long as we're calling it a valise, I
valise,
was going to
yeah.
call it attaché case, but
A satchel?
Yeah.
satchel
Yeah.
is a good word.
Yeah.
But I guess valise is probably the best
It's
word.
larger. Yeah, it's larger than a satchel. Come on, Tommy.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
I have to say I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite things in the movie.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
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 Not my favorite thing in the movie. I would like to talk about my favorite thing in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Please do.
Not yet. But my second favorite thing
Godfather
is
Minute.
is the valise.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it on this show. Why would I do it on this show? No, what I like about Henry Sr. is that he's kind of, again, I think that the reason he's always him and his son lock horns is because they're exactly alike. They're it's kind of, I mean, it's really well done because you are not like your parents, but you are, and sometimes you can see the ways in which you're exactly like them, even though you've tried your whole life to not be like them. And I think it's really well thought out what's with these two characters. You can see how Indy has tried not to be anything like his father. You know, he dresses in this leather jacket and this fedora that he got from a criminal. You know, and his father dresses in tweed and a little hat and carries a valise, and Indy carries a whip and all that. Meanwhile, they're both wearing their iconic uniforms. You know, they both have this look, and Henry has his valise and his umbrella, and he even wields his umbrella, uses it as a tool to achieve things, just like Indy does with his whip. And he's got a famous hat. And it's that thing of, like, you try to be the opposite of your father, and you're actually exactly like your father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In so many ways. And it really comes through here. And I think having his valise by his side at all times, just like Indy has his saddlebag around his slung over him, and he's got his whip on his other side, and Henry's got the umbrella, and they both have these great hats that are immediately recognizable. It's almost as if you saw them in silhouette, let's say riding off into the sunset, for example. I'm just throwing that out there. You'd still recognize them because of the iconic silhouettes that they purport. Anyway, that's a little rave review for the setting up of these characters there. I do enjoy that. I think actually, I mean, all the father stuff in this movie is so well done. The fact that it all basically comes back around to fathers and sons. It's a good choice for the third film in the series. It's a more mature subject matter. You go from fortune and glory to what matters is family.
Yeah. And Jared keeps pointing out the fact that works at all is a miracle.
Yeah.
Like, just if you bring, oh, yeah, this one's going to have Indy's dad. You're like, oh my God, please just kill me. This is so stupid and ridiculous. But it works out awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the irony there, is that's the one thing you think would be awful and really hard to pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do
Yeah,
it
they
amazingly.
do it amazingly. You know, there's something in this minute that kind of creeps me out, and it's when Indy gets to the top of that weird ass room.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
That was when I said this was
Yes.
the most Scooby Doo minute of the movie. It's this.
It is. Well, he gets
Yeah.
to the top of that, and he goes, dead end. And it sounds nothing like Indiana Jones at all. I've listened to it 20 times,
Yeah.
and it actually sounds like Donovan. And I'm wondering, could this be, and you guys can listen, could this be one of those horror movie Donovan voice, chiding them throughout the castle, Vincent Price things? Think about it. We're in a castle.
Doing the alarm sound. Yeah.
It's like it's not Indy saying dead end. It's actually Donovan's voice just throughout the castle. Dead end. It does not sound anything like
weird.
him. It's really weird.
It sounds more like him than when he goes, "Come on, Dad."
Well, that at least
give
he's
it that.
grimacing and making a face, and he's like, he throws it. I wouldn't believe that, except he throws the valise at his dad.
Well, he kind of used that tone with Willie too.
Yeah, he did with Willie, actually.
a little bit.
That's true.
But the fact that he assumes that there has to be a secret door or passageway, that's total Scooby Doo.
That's
weird.
weird.
He walks in this room. He's like, "Oh, there's got to be a secret way out of here." Like
That's how
every
castles
room in
work.
a castle has a secret room. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then eventually Donovan's going to pull off his head.
This is super weird because I always assumed, throughout the previous scenes, with them tied up in the, whatever, that mead hall, that they were kind of on the ground floor.
Yeah, I
Right.
thought that too.
Right.
And then it doesn't seem, we don't see them climbing a bunch of stairs. They're just sort of suddenly in this, what is clearly some kind of tower, sort of parapet kind of
Yeah.
spot.
They've gone laterally to this room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
It's weird.
And I wondered, what is in the castle? What is the purpose of this room? Because it kind of looks like a
Right.
Rapunzel room.
Yeah, it's like where you keep the man in the velvet mask.
Right.
Right.
It's higher up in the castle, right? It's sequestered, and there's a chair and straw.
Well, I'm wondering if it's like the chauffeur's quarters.
You've clearly never lived in a castle. You don't know what a room like this is used for. I mean, everyone knows what a room like this is used for.
Jerry's so embarrassed.
I'm
that he's
so
never lived in the castle.
I'm guessing here, Pete. You can stop me if I'm wrong, but is there a deleted scene here where a headless Scottish Highlander appears and tries to scare off Indy and Scooby so they don't find his golden bagpipes?
There is, and Indy reaches into his satchel and pulls out some Indy snacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, I have a little question regarding Scotland.
Uh-huh.
What part of Scotland does Henry Sr. come from? My question is, what is his accent? Because it's not what I've heard as a Scottish accent.
I think he's from the Isle of Skye.
Sean Connery is doing some kind of an accent that is recognizable as a Sean Connery accent. He's from the nation of Sean Connery.
That's right.
Where they Sean Connery, yeah. Or maybe it is an island where just guys who talk like him walk around. Because it reminds me of the Kennedys. It reminds me of the Kennedys.
Yeah.
I've spent some time in New England.
Sure.
I've lived in southern New Hampshire, and I've never encountered anyone who spoke like the Kennedys.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. We choose to go to the moon and do these other things, not because they are easy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, ask not. I've never met anybody. Look, I've been in New England. I've been in Boston. I've been in Maine. I've gone into restaurants. I've never had the waiter say, ask not for the fish. It's off slightly. I've never had that. They've made up an accent, and they're the only ones who use it, like they were grown in a lab somewhere. And I don't know what accent that is, but I do know it clearly accounts for why Indy is so terrible at doing a Scottish accent.
Wow.
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, Indy starts running his hands frantically over the walls, and then Henry sits in the chair and says, "I find that if I just sit down and think," and tilts back, and the floor opens up.
Yeah.
I like to think that he and H.L. Mencken were friends, and they used to call this the smart sit.
He seems very unconcerned that his son is falling down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, he does.
Have any of you guys ever just sat down and had a solution present itself? You probably have, Tom.
Yes.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry. That makes you sound together and on top of things and going with the flow in a positive manner. So yes, absolutely, every day. My life is
You
a
sit
is a
down
jewel.
and the solution presents itself.
I think there's something to that. I think that can happen.
All right.
Yeah, if you can clear the clutter out of your head and you're like, oh, you know what? It's simply this.
I've always said that you would be surprised at how often you can achieve exactly what you need to achieve by doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Indiana Jones.
I'd say it's about 50-50. It's about half the time.
Yeah. My mom loves that. She has latched on. You know, sometimes if you just stay out of things and just don't do anything, everything works out just fine. You're right, Mom.
That's funny.
I'm going to do that.
We get another cartoon moment here. I feel like it feels like almost a Wile E. Coyote moment when he kind of runs over thin air before realizing he should be falling. It's just Indy seems to hover and flail here for quite a while before actually falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was on a wire at that.
Yeah, or like those
That shot.
Michael Jackson shoes.
He holds up the sign that says "Yipe." Okay, so again, what is going on, Pete? I'm asking you, what is going on here? There's a chair in this room. There's straw, and if you lean back, these stairs present. The stairs present and I'm going to ask you too again, Pete, because I know you have a mild anxiety disorder. Is this is this just a one-time trick secret? Because when Henry leans forward and the chair goes down, the stairs don't pop back up.
Yeah.
They
Right.
stay
You have
down.
to open the drawer on the desk and write a letter, and then the stairs go back up.
What the hell is this
resetting
room?
them takes hours probably. It's probably a huge pain in the neck to reset those stairs. Somebody accidentally sits in that chair and leans back, and they're like, "Oh, now we got to put the stairs back up." They got to send a guy down underneath, and they got to push him up that way. Oh, it's got to be a nightmare.
I think this must have been a torture room or something because that chair. It's weird because that chair is not fancy at all. It's just like a very utilitarian.
It doesn't look very comfortable.
No.
That must have been a torture
No,
room.
but I think that's where the guards
Here, sit
sat.
in this chair. It has a really thin
no
cushion.
lower back support.
Your back is going to hurt after a few hours. No, none whatsoever.
But then it's got a very modern looking mechanism.
Those Nazis were monsters.
But just what is the room, and why are there stairs?
very elegant, like wonderful stairs too. They don't match the room at all. Or at least they match the room, but they don't match the chair.
And what happens underneath these stairs when they descend like
This
that?
will be the baby's room.
Like, is there just
that would suck to be standing under there.
Is there like a little beeping or?
Yeah. Please clear the weird cylinder room.
Well, these movies are full of little. These movies are full of little unlikely, incredibly sophisticated mechanisms that are made of stone and embedded in walls somewhere. And I always wonder, in all of them, there's plenty of them in the previous two movies, and there's
previous three,
even more in the next one. And I always wonder, like whoever the previous three movies, right? Yeah, that's the thing. You really need to get on that first Indiana Jones film from 1979, guys. But we can talk about that. Sure. We can talk about that another time. Yeah, there's a lot of those, and I always wonder about the who made that, the planning that went into it, and how that mechanism works, and how can they be sure it's going to work every time if it's just jury-rigged out of stone and whatever. Those things fascinate me, especially like this stairwell.
Well, maybe Belloc brought the idol, the Chachapoyan idol, to the Nazis. And the Nazis went back and checked out the Chachapoyan temple and learned all these stone kind of booby trap techniques.
Right.
And this is their test castle. Yeah, this is where
full
they
of
try
stuff
all the
like
technology.
That. It's full of stone booby traps that were built 1,000 years ago.
So this is like their incubator for these test traps.
Okay, so serious question: is this all this haunted castle? Is that where all this stuff comes from? I think you said it way early on. Yeah, like we're gonna actually get this haunted castle, and we're gonna get this this haunted castle. So was all this stuff just in this drafted haunted castle that they shoehorned in here, like the spin around firing place and the descending stairs with the chair and.
Yeah, I'm sure George Lucas had all these things that he came up because he gets his mind kind of fixated on things, and I think the haunted castle was his idea. So I'm sure he was like, "Hey, we're going to call this guy Mace eventually, or we're going to call I had these great gags like a stairway that comes down when you sit in the chair, and like he had to put it in eventually.
I mean, it is Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's exactly
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
Exactly Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Only better.
A little better production value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if given the choice. I mean, this is what Scooby Doo should have been. The only thing Scooby Doo has over this is a cameo by Sonny and Cher.
Yeah. And Batman
You get
and
the
Robin.
Scooby Doo mystery movie with Sonny and Cher, and or Don Knotts, or I think didn't Rowan and Martin do one of those where they
Oh, probably.
appeared on
Yeah.
Scooby Doo? You know what was the best part of
Harlem
the
Globetrotters?
the Harlem Globetrotters? Absolutely did Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah, that was by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best one was Laurel and Hardy appeared, which has always baffled me because, you know, as the mystery machine, they're going around and the gang are constantly encountering ghosts, and the ghosts all turn out to be fake. And then Laurel and Hardy, who've been dead for years, show up. And nobody says a word. Nobody mentions it.
I'll say, hey, it's Laurel and I. Like, hey.
Hey, guys, in all seriousness, have we never considered what a Saturday morning Indiana Jones show would be like?
Oh,
Like in the vein of like Scooby Doo or like
Yeah,
the Jackson
that would be
5
amazing.
cartoon or something.
that
or-
would be incredible.
It would be on early.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Like on a Saturday.
I don't know if I like where this is going. I want to sit in a chair and have the stairs open up and run out.
I think if that Patrick Schoenemacher guy that did that amazing indie
Oh.
animation were to do
Yeah.
it, I think that would be
Yeah.
incredible.
But just even pictured as like the 70s, like just like totally stock animation, like crummy, you know, it's like the same
Yeah.
repeated walk over and over again. Well, this looks like it's the temple that the old man talked about at the gas station back there.
If you ask a young George Lucas would have gone to see his beloved serials on a Saturday, and they would have been
Yeah.
shorts, and so it
Yeah.
probably would have been a natural format for something like this if it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
done well.
Yeah.
But if it was done by, you know, Rankin Bass or whoever, just
Yeah.
was
Hanna-Barbera
Filmation.
or
Oh,
something.
Filmation. Yeah, it probably would have been
Filmation.
Filmation,
Yeah.
and it would have been like the Star Trek TV show, and not the Star Trek
Yeah.
TV show, the cartoon show. I forgot Star Trek
Right,
was
right.
also a TV show.
And what if Harrison Ford had like a lousy career after like Star Wars or something, and he was doing the voice for Indiana Jones on the cartoon? Like that's all he could get.
Yeah, that's all. Yes, typecast
Yeah.
from then on.
That's beautiful.
Instead of Dawes Butler, who it would have been. It would have been Dawes Butler doing Harrison Ford's voice.
No, I'm more. I'm dreamy right now. I'm thinking, oh, that would have been nice.
No, you know what? If Harrison Ford, if they had Indiana Jones cartoon, that would have been more work for Perry King, who was used to doing Harrison
Oh,
Ford's
yeah, there you go.
characters
Yeah.
in voice.
Yeah. He did the radio Star Wars.
So my
His
favorite
Han Solo.
thing in this
Yeah.
movie, by the way, here's my favorite thing in this movie.
I don't care
I
anymore.
love so much. It's when it ends and we can all go home. No, it's my favorite,
Yeah.
absolute
Oh.
favorite thing is when Henry says, "I should have mailed it to the Marx Brothers."
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Here's why I love that so much, because they had to come up with a cultural reference that would make sense in 1938 and still make sense in 1989.
Yeah.
Had to be recognizable
Yeah.
to audiences, and I'm incredibly impressed every time I watch the movie at that. Think of the tightrope walk you had to go on, and it's a witty, it's a funny line. It gets a laugh in the theater. It's perfectly in tune with something a guy from 1938 would say, and it's still funny
Yeah.
and makes perfect sense in 1989. And what
Yeah.
I do in my cartoons is I'm often figuring out a caption, and I'm trying to find the exact right word for something. I'm trying to find the right descriptive or the right adjective, and it's the most fun part of the job is sitting down and trying to figure out what's the right word to use here. You know, do I want to say pacemaker or heart stent? What's a funnier medical apparatus? Things like that. And sometimes I talk with other cartoonists about this, and we'll say, Zimbabwe. No, Zimbabwe's not funny. Belgium is funny. It's not a funny country. Belgium.
Yeah.
You're trying to find the right reference for something. And so I'm fascinated by that they went with the Marx Brothers, and it works. It's perfect, pinpoint perfect. And I was looking on the IMDb trivia, and there's an interesting thing I found, which is where they had a little trouble with that in another part of the movie, where the guy in the castle says, "If you're a Scottish lord, I'm Mickey Mouse." There's another cultural reference which makes sense in 1989, but it's relevant to 1938 as well. It doesn't have the same punch as the Marx Brothers. It just doesn't feel as good because Mickey Mouse is such a general term. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice at second 38 we have Ark of the Covenant boxes?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Ark of the Covenant style
But they're
boxes.
small ones. They're like mini arcs.
They're like mini arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the 5 commandments.
So you can have one at home. Everybody gets an arc. Mini
Everybody
arcs.
gets.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. We'll make a fortune. We'll sell them for $29.95. An arc in every home.
Yeah.
It's about time. That's what Hitler wanted the arc for. It wasn't to use its power. It was to mass produce it, make a bundle.
Yeah.
Did that room go directly to the boat dock or boat launch?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
It seems like they did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that they didn't have to almost that was the. It's like if you want to get a boat and you're on the, you're in the castle tower. You just lean back in a chair.
It's like the fireman's pull.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is interesting is there's a sign on the wall, and it's in German.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, in German, it says no access restricted area.
Mm-hmm.
This is a no access restricted area. Or is he just leaving a no access restricted area?
Huh.
I guess those look like those crates are maybe like weapons or something. So maybe it's like you can't be a radio guy and be down here. You have to be maybe you can be a radio guy because those guys all have guns. But
Yeah, I wonder who's the restriction for? Who's being restricted from the area? Whose access is being restricted? I think they put the sign there just in case 2 American archaeologists happen to get into the castle. And the signs are like, do not escape on motorcycle. Do not, they just have things, probably signs all around the castle saying things not to do. Do not undermine Der Fuhrer's plan,
And he shows up and he sees the boats and he just says, "Great, more boats."
I like that because it kind of calls back to Venice.
Is that what that is? Is that exactly
Yeah,
what
no,
that
he's
is?
talking
so.
about the Venice thing.
Like
yeah.
he had a tough
Yeah.
time in a boat in Venice?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, we just got over these.
All
Right. Did you not put that together?
I did. No, I did, but I figured that out. But I think it's a little weak. It's a little weird. It's a little. I don't know why. Why do people have to say stuff all the time? There's so many times if people just didn't say anything, the scene would go a lot
I
better.
love that. No, you're right. Great more boats.
Great
I don't
more
mind that
boats.
line,
Like,
but-
what is he? He's had plenty of fine times in boats. Why does he? Remember that scene with the boats?
He's had a wonderful. Well, he also has he has a hard time on a boat at the beginning of the movie, and then he has a tough time in Venice. It's been a bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's a good
boats
call.
have not gone well for him.
And the boats in Venice could have just been this morning.
Yeah.
Like
it's true.
that could have been earlier than the same day.
It's actually true. Yeah.
Well, no, didn't they go back? They went back to their rooms after the boat thing, and they sort of went to sleep. And they may have gone to sleep, or
And made whoopee.
yeah, they might have. But then whose room does Schneider go to? Maybe both of them.
Wait, who? Indy and Marcus? What? Who?
Marcus
No,
and
isn't? Oh, yeah, right. Dad's not with them at that point. Sorry, they don't.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah. No, maybe she's.
That'd
For all
be
we know,
weird.
she's stripping Marcus too. I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah.
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 Not that there's anything wrong with that. I only have a problem with her being a Nazi. As far as being a self-realized woman with sexual appetites, that I support fully. I support
Sure.
that fully. I would
Yes.
like to support it even more.
If you sleep alone, you're sleeping with Hitler.
That's what the
In her
poster
case,
said. That's I
yes.
remember those.
Both of those.
Right, absolutely. Those were all over the place. They were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Join the war. Join the
Just you
war
laying
effort.
in bed with like a ghostly thing of Hitler.
I'm sure there were a lot of guys going around saying, "Oh yeah, well, if you don't sleep with me, the Nazis win."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize you were a Nazi sympathizer. You won't sleep with me. It's all right. It's cool.
So is Henry taking a jab at Indy when he says, "So has this just been another typical day for you?" Or is he actually been a lot more interested in Indy's life than Indy's given him credit for?
I think he's being kind of genuine and like he's just seen his son murder people and get out of a burning building.
I think it's him now discovering and developing an appreciation for the field work that he doesn't normally get to do, but that his son revels in.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But what's fascinating here is what Indy says, right, with the joke, no, it's better than most. So you think that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right, because most days...
Much worse.
He's in his office at Marshall College. And that sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
And he hates
most
that.
days he's getting the crap beaten out of him. Most days are actually like this, but worse. Yeah. This is actually pretty average for him.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's what he mean. What he means is this isn't even so bad. You have no idea.
Well, we talked earlier in the season about how it really, when Indy escapes out of his office hour window, and he's just petrified, and he hates his life at school. I'd quote Barnett.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's why that's why he says, is this is this a typical day? And no, most of his typical days are worse.
See, I thought he was saying no, it's better than most because he's getting to hang out with his dad.
Aww.
Aww.
Then why didn't he say
Totally how it reads.
Look
no,
at you.
it's better than most because I get to hang out with you, Dad.
Yeah.
That would have been
I love
great,
you, Dad.
great place for a touching moment between them.
That's right.
What's weird about this exchange is that it's they almost do the exact same thing later in the movie, and it's much more effective.
Yeah.
They have the same kind of like, is this a typical thing for you kind of thing?
Yeah.
And it's much, much better later on. Like here's just kind of like, it's fine, but it's like, it's
Sure.
not, doesn't have any teeth or anything.
The way Indy delivers this line, though, it's been better than most. He just suddenly seems like a very sad, lonely figure.
Yeah. He
Like
does.
I just feel really sad for him all of a sudden.
Right. This is my life.
Like it's not really funny. It's not really like.
I think he's
just
sort of an old school hero in that his life mostly sucks. He's something you don't see too much anymore.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think you see the hero, and he's always being a badass and always doing great stuff. And with Indiana Jones, you have more like an old school, sort of like a 1940s noir hero, where most of the time he's miserable and he's getting beaten up.
Uh-huh.
There's a thing in this movie that I noticed. They show the hero in peril a lot, and Harrison Ford is so good at being underneath it.
Yeah.
He's so good at being beaten up and hurting and being in pain, and things are not going well for him most of the time. And that's how the hero used to be portrayed. Right. There's the shot at the beginning of this week of them tied to a chair with the flames. I don't know that you'd see that now as a sort of a signature image in an action movie of the hero tied to a chair, helpless. But that's how you see Indiana Jones a lot of the time. He's in a bad situation. He's in a bad way, and the fun is how is he going to get out of it. And I don't see that as much. I'd like to see the hero in peril, because then you have a reason to think he's a hero when he gets out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, he's going to be fine, but there's still like, oh, he might die. Burn
that's
to
the
death.
fun of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else for minute?
Oh, no, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
This just in, coming down the stairs.
Whoops. Gangway.
From Professor Christy Porter. What is Indy's ideal day?
Wow.
I think this is.
It might be.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to hang out with Elsa. He's kind of sticking it to his dad. He's fighting Nazis and killing a few of them, and he's searching for a treasure.
He's like Batman.
Yeah.
He's insane. He's compelled by insanity. This is what he loves.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nazis are a superstitious and cowardly lot. I will be an archaeologist.
Well, and he's not at Marshall College.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not in his office. I cannot get that image out of my head where Indy was sitting at his desk petrified.
Mm-hmm.
Petrified.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that in the first movie.
No,
Oh,
there's
really?
nothing. No, it's true. It's only in this movie. Yeah, it's true. I think it's because he's now at Barnett and he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's just he's. It's like that might be the only time I've ever seen Indiana Jones depressed.
Yeah.
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 That is interesting.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
So this I agree with you
I
guys.
was depressed after Marion blew up.
That's true. That's true. But that's fair. I mean, Marion blew up.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
when he's in his office, that's his 9 to 5.
That's like grief versus just existential.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my
That's
God,
true.
help me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that we've gotten to grief and oh my God, help me. Joe, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you. Before I go, I think the time has finally come for me to
Oh my God.
To let you know about the first Indiana Jones movie from
God.
1979.
Yeah.
I try not to spoil
I'm
anything.
really
but yes.
surprised that not as many people have seen this, and certainly surprised that you haven't seen it, and I hope you will get to it eventually. But it was a huge hit, and it started the series back in 1979. It was Indiana Jones and the Lost Legend of Pelham Parkway. And it's Indy learns of an ancient mystical relic that's been sitting on a shelf in a kosher deli on White Plains Road in the Bronx for many years. And so he goes to get it. Along the way, he tangles with the sinister forces of the Bronx Park East Volunteer Fire Department, who want the relic for their own nefarious needs. And it's a great movie, and it features an incredible set piece where Indy escapes by jumping a turnstile and hopping a 2 train up to 241st Street. And you are going to love this movie. I can't believe you haven't seen it, and I can't wait, and I want to come back on your show when you finally do this movie minute by minute.
How did they do that without computers in 1979? That's crazy.
They had computers.
Okay, I got to see this thing.
They had computers.
Oh, man. Man. All right. Well, we clearly have our work cut out for us. We're going to get to the first Indiana Jones movie one of these days. All in
about
due
time.
Yeah.
I think it is. Well, first we have to finish Last Crusade. So we'll come back tomorrow with that. But Joe, tell the people again one last time when they can where they can find you online.
Oh, well, my name is my name is Joe Dator. That's one word, and well, it's 2 words too. It's definitely not 3 words. That would be weird. But yeah, you can find me on the social media, Joe Dator, on Twitter, Instagram. That's it. Google me. You can see my my cartoons in the New Yorker and elsewhere sometimes.
Awesome. Well, everyone go find Joe. Go find us. Oh, if you want to support the show, you should go find us on Patreon. Join us at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. And for a small monthly fee to help support the show, you can get stickers every month. You can get postcards from your 3 hosts. You could get episodes of our bonus show, Anything Goes, where we discuss other movies, Indiana Jones comics, all sorts of stuff. It is a great lot of fun, and you can spend the weekend with us that way. But first and foremost, come back here tomorrow for minute 64 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Come on.